What if I told you that the innocent glass of orange juice sitting on your breakfast table right now might be doing the same specific type of damage to your liver as a shot of whiskey? It is a startling thought, isn't it? We have been told our entire lives that fruit is nature's candy and that juice is the nectar of health. But new science reveals a much darker truth, especially for those of us over the age of 60. There is a silent crisis happening inside our bodies, one that has nothing to do with alcohol, yet looks almost identical to it under a microscope. Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Emily Hart, and I am so incredibly grateful to be here with you today. My passion is to help you navigate these wonderful later years with vitality, clarity, and true health. I want to help you cut through the noise and the marketing myths to understand what your body is really asking for. Before we dive into this vital information, I would love for you to take a brief moment and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? I absolutely love seeing where our community of strong, curious women comes together from all corners of the globe. And if you haven't already, please do click that subscribe button so we can keep learning and growing together. Let us begin by gently challenging a belief that most of us have held for decades. Think back to when we were raising our children, or perhaps how we were raised. A complete breakfast always included a glass of juice. It was the gold standard of health, packed with vitamin C, bright, refreshing, and wholesome. We thought we were doing the absolute best thing for our bodies. But here is the reality that we need to face together. The metabolism you have now in your 60s, 70s, or 80s is not the same metabolism you had in your 30s. As we age, our ability to process concentrated sugars shifts dramatically. When you drink a glass of fruit juice, even the freshly squeezed kind without added sugar, you are consuming the sugar of 4, 5, or even 6 oranges in a matter of seconds. But crucially, you are drinking it without the fiber. In a whole fruit, that fiber acts like a safety net, slowing down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. When you strip that fiber away, you are essentially delivering a high-velocity sugar injection straight into your system. For a woman over 60, this is not just about a sugar rush. It is about the specific type of sugar found in fruit, which is called fructose. We used to think all sugars were created equal, that a calorie was just a calorie, but we now know that is simply not true. Your body handles the glucose from a slice of bread very differently than it handles the fructose from a glass of grape juice or apple cider. In fact, this specific type of sugar triggers a biological cascade that is alarmingly similar to how your body processes alcohol. It creates a toxic burden that your liver has to shoulder all on its own. You might be wondering, why does my body react this way to something that comes from nature? Why would fruit be the villain? It's a fair question, and the answer lies in a fascinating biological quirk that explains why so many of us are struggling with liver issues without ever touching a drop of alcohol. This quirk is the key to understanding your energy levels and your waistline, and it is exactly what we're going to explore right now. To understand why fructose is so dangerous for the aging liver, I want you to visualize your body as a busy, well-organized factory. In this factory, glucose, the sugar we get from starches like potatoes or oatmeal, is the general fuel. Every cell in your body, from your brain to your biceps, can use glucose for energy. It is like electricity. It goes everywhere. When you eat a potato, the energy is distributed throughout the entire factory. Your muscles use it, your brain uses it, and your heart uses it. The workload is shared. However, fructose is entirely different. Fructose is like a specialized, high-voltage fuel that the regular machinery in your body cannot use. There is only one department in your entire body that is equipped to process fructose, and that is your liver. When you drink that glass of juice or eat something high in sweeteners, every single gram of that fructose heads straight for the liver. No other organ helps out. Your muscles cannot burn it. Your brain cannot use it. The liver is on its own. Now imagine what happens when a massive delivery of this fuel arrives all at once. The liver gets overwhelmed. It is like a factory worker on an assembly line that is moving too fast. The liver looks at all of this incoming fructose and says, I cannot use all of this for energy right now, so I have to store it. And how does the liver store this excess energy? It converts it directly into fat. This process has a scientific name, de novo lipogenesis, but you can just think of it as your liver turning sugar into belly fat. This is where the comparison to alcohol becomes so striking. Ethanol, the alcohol in wine or spirits, is also processed exclusively by the liver. When you drink alcohol, your liver drops everything else to detoxify your blood, and the byproduct of that process is fat accumulation in the liver cells. Fructose does the exact same thing. It bypasses the body's full signals and goes straight to fat production. This is why we are seeing a skyrocketing rate of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD, in women over 60 who have never had a problem with alcohol. Their livers look exactly like the liver of a heavy drinker, simply because of their diet. This fat accumulation causes inflammation. It causes the liver cells to become stressed and stiff. And when your liver is stressed, your entire metabolism slows down. It becomes a vicious cycle. The more fructose you consume, the fatter the liver gets. The fatter the liver gets, the less able it is to burn fat, and the more weight you gain around your midsection. It is a biological trap. But here's the catch. You might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't drink fruit juice, so I am safe. And while that would be wonderful if it were true, the reality is much trickier. The food industry knows that we love sweet things, and they have found ways to hide this liver-toxic sugar in places you would never suspect. In fact, there is a specific ingredient that acts as a silent assassin in our pantries, often hiding in foods labeled as healthy for seniors, and we need to shine a light on it immediately. We need to take a mental walk down the aisles of your local grocery store. For decades, specifically since the 1980s and 90s, we have been sold a lie that I suspect many of you still believe deep down. We were told that fat was the enemy. We were told that to protect our hearts and slim our waistlines, we needed to eat low-fat everything. So we swapped our butter for margarine, our whole milk for skim, and our eggs for cereal. But here is the secret the manufacturers didn't tell us. When you remove the natural fat from food, it tastes like cardboard. It loses its texture and its flavor. To fix this, food companies started pumping these low-fat products full of sugar, specifically high fructose corn syrup. This was a cheap, liquid sweetener that mixed easily into processed foods and extended their shelf life. This is the comment magnet of our discussion today, and I want you to really hear this because it is shocking. Did you know that many heart-healthy, low-fat yogurts, the ones marketed specifically to women our age to help with calcium, contain more sugar than a candy bar? Yes, you heard me correctly. A single small cup of fruit-flavored low-fat yogurt can have as much fructose as a bag of candies. We think we are nurturing our bones, but we are stressing our livers. It hides in salad dressings, too. You make a beautiful, healthy salad with fresh greens, cucumbers, and tomatoes, and then you pour a light vinaigrette over it. That dressing is often the fructose delivery system. It is in the whole wheat bread that claims to be good for digestion. It is in the bran muffins that we eat for fiber. It is even in the marinara sauce we put on our pasta. High fructose corn syrup is the most concentrated form of the very molecule that your liver struggles to process. For women over 60, this is a disaster. Our bodies are already becoming more insulin resistant naturally as we age. When we unknowingly bombard our systems with hidden high fructose corn syrup, we are essentially accelerating the aging process of our organs. We are creating a fatty liver without ever realizing we are doing anything wrong. We are following the rules of the 1990s, not realizing that those rules are what is making us sick today. So, how do you know if this is happening to you? You cannot look in the mirror and see your liver. You cannot feel your liver hurting because the liver has no pain receptors inside of it. It suffers in silence. However, the body has a language of its own, and it screams for help in other ways. If you have been feeling just old lately, I want you to listen very closely because the symptoms I am about to describe are likely not age. They are your liver asking for a break. Let's connect the dots between your liver health and your daily life. I want to validate some struggles that I know many of you face, struggles that are often dismissed by doctors as simply part of aging. Have you noticed a stubborn roll of fat around your midsection that simply will not budge? You might be eating like a bird, exercising, and doing everything right, but that muffin top or belly pooch remains. We often blame menopause. And yes, hormones play a role, but the liver is the primary culprit here. When the liver becomes congested with fat, when it becomes a fatty liver, it runs out of storage space inside the organ. It has no choice but to start storing the fat around the outside of the organ in the abdominal cavity. This is called visceral fat. It pushes your stomach out. It is not just cosmetic. It is a sign that your internal filter is clogged. Then there is the fatigue. I'm not talking about being tired after a long day of gardening. I'm talking about that deep, heavy exhaustion that hits you in the afternoon. You wake up tired, and by 2 p.m., you feel like you need a nap just to function. This happens because a healthy liver is your body's battery pack. It stores a quick-release energy called glycogen. When you need a boost, the liver releases it. But a fatty liver is like a battery that won't hold a charge. It cannot store or release energy efficiently, leaving you running on fumes. And let's not forget the brain fog. You walk into a room and forget why you are there. You struggle to find the right word in a conversation. We joke about senior moments, but this cognitive fuzziness is often directly linked to liver function. The liver filters toxins like ammonia from the blood. When it is sluggish and overwhelmed by fructose, those toxins remain in circulation and can affect brain function, making you feel cloudy and slow. It is heartbreaking because so many women internalize this. They think, I'm just getting old, or I just don't have the discipline to lose weight. I want you to release that guilt right now. It is not a lack of discipline. It is a metabolic blockage caused by a modern diet that our ancient bodies were not designed to handle. Now, I know this sounds frightening and perhaps a little overwhelming, but here is the most beautiful part of today's conversation, and the reason I am so passionate about sharing this with you. The liver is the most forgiving organ in the human body. It is the only organ that can completely regenerate itself. Even if you have stressed it for decades, you can turn the tide. And you don't need expensive medication to do it. Nature has provided us with powerful antidotes. Simple, delicious drinks that you can enjoy every day to start stripping that fat away. Let's talk about the solutions. We are going to replace those sugary juices and hidden fructose traps with 3 specific beverages that act as medicine for your liver. The first one might surprise you because for years people said it was bad for you. It is black coffee. Yes, your morning cup of coffee is a superhero for your liver. Studies have consistently shown that coffee drinkers have a lower risk of liver disease and liver cancer. But why? Coffee contains compounds that lower liver enzymes and prevent the buildup of scar tissue, which is called fibrosis. It acts like a bodyguard, stiffening the cells against damage. The key for us, however, is to drink it without the sugar. If you add 3 spoonfuls of sugar or a sweet creamer, you negate the benefit. Learn to love it with a splash of heavy cream or almond milk, or perhaps a dash of cinnamon. The second antidote is green tea, specifically matcha if you can tolerate it. Green tea is loaded with a powerful antioxidant called EGCG. Think of EGCG as a fat shredder. It helps your liver metabolize and burn off the fat that is stored within its cells. It essentially turns up the heat in the factory, helping to clear out the backlog of inventory. A cup or two of green tea in the afternoon can replace that sugary snack and give you a gentle, steady energy boost without the crash. And the third, and perhaps the simplest, is warm lemon water. I want you to imagine your liver is like a sponge that has been soaking up grease. Warm lemon water in the morning is like squeezing that sponge out under fresh, running water. The citric acid in the lemon stimulates the liver to produce bile. Bile is the fluid that carries toxins out of the body. By starting your day with warm water and half a squeezed lemon, you are flushing the system before you even eat your first bite of food. It is a gentle, daily detox that costs almost nothing. These drinks, black coffee, green tea, and lemon water, are powerful tools. They are accessible, they are natural, and they are effective. But they work best when we understand the timeline. You might be asking, Dr. Hart, how long will this take? Am I too late? And the answer to that is the most hopeful message I can give you today. I want you to really take this in. Your liver is waiting for a second chance, and it does not need years to recover. It starts recovering the moment you stop the assault of fructose. Scientific studies have shown that when people cut out fructose and added sugars from their diet, liver fat begins to decrease significantly in as little as 2 weeks, just 14 days. Imagine that. In 2 weeks, you could significantly reduce the burden on your liver. In a few months, you could reverse years of silent damage. You are not too old to heal. I have seen women in their 70s and 80s reclaim their energy, lose that stubborn belly blow, and clear the fog from their minds simply by changing what they drink. When you give your liver a break, when you stop flooding the factory with fructose, it immediately gets to work repairing itself. It clears out the fat. It repairs the cells. It restores your energy reserves. This is a roadmap to rejuvenation that is entirely in your hands. It does not require a prescription. It requires awareness. It requires looking at that glass of orange juice and seeing it for what it truly is, a treat, not a health food. It requires reading the back of the yogurt container and putting it back on the shelf if high fructose corn syrup is listed. So, here is my challenge to you, and the simple first step I want you to take today. After this video ends, I want you to walk into your kitchen, open your pantry and your refrigerator. Put on your reading glasses and look at the labels. Look for high fructose corn syrup, crystalline fructose, or agave syrup, which is shockingly high in fructose. If you see them, make a plan to replace them. Swap the juice for the whole orange. Swap the fruit yogurt for plain Greek yogurt and add your own fresh berries. Small changes made consistently yield massive results. You have the power to heal. You have the power to feel vibrant and light and energetic again. Your body is listening to you, ready to respond with gratitude the moment you start treating it with this new understanding. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I know there is so much information out there, and I am honored that you chose to trust me with your health journey today. If this video was helpful to you, please share it with a friend, a sister, or a daughter. Let's protect the women we love by spreading this vital knowledge. And remember to subscribe so you never miss a conversation about your health. Until next time, take good care of yourself and be kind to your liver.